You got anything recording
Yeah.
sound wise?
Well, I'm not gonna use sound.
Okay. You sure? 'Cause I'm about to tell you something I did.
I'm gonna blank it.
Okay.
It'll be for our presentation. I'll be talking over it, so I'm gonna mute it.
So, on pads with wings, there's a kind of a waxy piece of paper to
For the sticky part.
for the sticky part. And it's like the wings are folded up over the top of like the part that they're like this. And so you rip it off and fold it under.
Okay.
Guess what I forgot to take off? I put a pad on yesterday.
So did it just slide around?
I'm not. It's not that bad right now. So luckily,
Oh.
I got lucky. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Did I do that in my sleep or something?" I couldn't.
I don't remember you getting up.
I don't think I did. Figure out when I did that. Such a weirdo. Here we have $20. Oh.
Are you washing your clothes, I guess?
Yes. Although, good underwear. This underwear is stupid. Like, not doing me any good. Along with my hat.
Yeah.
Chilly in here.
Good afternoon, patrons, and welcome to the September sort of 2018 Patron Cast, which will also pick up a special little unique subtitle. This is the jet-lagged Patron Cast. I'm still really tired. In case I didn't know, I mentioned the actual days. I can't remember if I actually mentioned the days. So, last Saturday, I flew out to, well, actually didn't fly out to West Virginia. I'll talk you through the trip. Basically, I flew out last Saturday and I got back on Wednesday morning. And by the time I left America, I was just just about like getting close to being on American time, and my body was saying, okay, fine, I'll accept this American thing, just in time for me to come back and have to try and deal with being on British time and trying to stay awake like all of Wednesday, and then like sleeping 13 hours and thinking I was fine, but then the following night being a nightmare where I could barely sleep at all, and now I'm very, very tired. So this is going to be the tired Patreon cast, the jet lag Patreon cast. So if I don't make a huge amount of sense, that's why. Then that's just because, like, you know, from my point of view, the purple bubble elephants have just come into the room again, and that's why I'm suddenly screaming. That explains everything. Still, let me talk to you about this. And by the way, sorry, okay, I have to caveat this. If anybody has asked any questions this month about like details about Fallout 76, I cannot tell you. Okay, I'm sorry. I can start telling you stuff on Monday. For the moment, I can't tell you a thing. So I'm very sorry if you've asked a question about Fallout 76 that pertains to something that wasn't already in the public domain, like before I went on this trip, that just might refer to, like, you know, one of them trailers that was like an E3 or whatever. I cannot answer. So I'm very, very sorry, but I simply cannot answer those questions. Like, you know, it's not worth it for me under any circumstances to break a Bethesda embargo, because if I do, it's not so much what they'll do to me, it's what they won't do to me, which is the next time they do an event, I'll just be blacklisted and they will never invite me to anything again. That is not worth it. So I'm so sorry, I cannot answer a single question. So if there are any such questions and I don't like acknowledge them, that's why. It's because like I legally cannot. I have signed a legal document saying I will not discuss anything till this next Monday. I think this is supposed to go on Sunday. So tomorrow, you get information really soon. Like really soon. Ask me whatever the hell. I'll tell you absolutely everything. Just not quite yet. So here's how all of this affects. And by the way, I'm going to start this off by saying, I'm not a good flyer. All right, I am not a comfortable flyer in the slightest, and it's because I'm.
Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis Dahl and we are at episode number 29.
Wow! 29 and we haven't killed each other yet. That's like a long marriage. Or a short marriage. Not sure.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me to introduce you. See, you still tell me what to do. So I'm Barbara Wojin.
I still tell you what to do, just like a marriage.
Yeah, I know. And I am not the guy.
Who wears the pants in this relationship anyways? Because I've never even seen them. What color are they?
Blue.
Believe it or not, we're wrapping up October, and that only means the holidays are coming up. And then after that, it's dental convention time.
Yep.
Barb and I have been working on some exciting events for Voices from the Bench, and we're happy to announce the first event that's hopefully of many. Last week, we mentioned the Visions 21 meetings in Las Vegas. With all the exciting speakers they have lined up, Barb and I will be there doing some live recordings for Voices from the Bench in between the speakers and after the events. We hope that some of our listeners will come to Visions and sit down with us and be on the podcast. We're not going to air the recording live, but it will allow us to interview some technicians, some owners, vendors, or anyone else who will sit down and chat with us. So head over to nadl.org and register for Visions 21. If you've never been, I highly recommend going. Not only is it great, but first-timers get a discount when signing up. Head over to nadl.org. We'll love to see everybody there.
No, I'm thinking that there's going to be plenty of people that want to sit down and chat with us.
Well, hopefully, and I know there will be a lot of past guests there. And the exciting thing is we'll be able to sit down with them and catch up with them and see how they're doing.
And it really is a great meeting, and hopefully it'll introduce new people that are listening to our podcast to it, because, you know, it's not only a lot of networking, a lot of great speakers, you know, but it's a really meaningful couple days and brings everybody together. So come on out.
And for those of you not in Florida, going to Las Vegas in January is a nice welcome warmth.
Going to Las Vegas anytime is a nice warmth, but especially in January. So come on out.
So Barb and I were interviewed last week live with video by a couple of ortho technicians that have a YouTube channel. I don't know about you, Barb, but I'm not used to being recorded live. But I think it turned out pretty good, and we had a lot of fun.
I think that I look really short, and I wish somebody would have told me that I looked really short, but they were amazing. Kate and Steve were amazing. I think Steve was listening to the podcast and told Kate about us, and they had us on, and we were really grateful to be on there. It was really a lot of fun. We've never done anything live, especially with video, and now that I know how to position myself on my computer, we should do more of that, Elvis. Mister?
Yeah, I have a face for podcasting, so I don't know about this whole video thing. I highly suggest everyone to head over to YouTube and search for Wire Wednesday 27.
Yep.
That is Cade Tibbetts' YouTube channel. He has a guy named Steve Cesara on, and it's just Barb and I talking about the podcast and things dental laboratory related. It was a lot of fun. Head over to this episode's webpage at voicesfromthebench.com, and you'll find a link to their YouTube channel and to our interview. Just like I said, be kind. We're not used to this whole live video thing. There's a reason why Barb and I do an edited podcast. But go over there and check it out. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, please do.
So on today's episode, we have Grace Rizza. She's the founder and CEO of Identity Dental Marketing. Now, Grace spends most of her energy helping dentists market to patients, but I believe that if we, as lab technicians, managers, and owners, can better understand the process of how doctors do their marketing, not only can we pick up interesting ways to market to them, but if we can help them market, well, you know how the old saying goes, if they're successful, we'll be successful. So as you listen to Grace talk about doctors marketing to patients, remember that in some way the same technique can be used in our labs. Barb was not with us during this interview. Where were you?
No, I haven't missed many, but I did miss that one, so I regretfully missed it. But you did a great job, Elvis, so kudos to you.
Barb was doing something more important than this podcast, probably. I'm guessing running a lab. I don't know. Whatever you do when you're not doing the podcast. I don't even know what you do.
Well, it must have been an emergency because I would never miss this.
Yeah, so Grace Rizza was nice enough to join me. So please take a listen, and we'll talk to you soon. Voices from the Bench. The interview. So I want to thank Grace Rizza for joining us today. She is the owner of Identity Dental Marketing. I've been following Grace for a while on Facebook and her podcast, The Daily Grace, which I don't know how you do it every day. So when I follow Grace, I learn a lot about how dentists can market to the patients. I asked her to be on so she could tell us more about what we can do as a laboratory to help dentists market more. So Grace, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us today. So tell me, how did you get into dental marketing? What's your background?
Oh my gosh. I tripped and fell right into it.
Don't we all?
I graduated school in 2007 from Marquette University, and I have an advertising psychology background. And there were no jobs at that time. I mean, everyone was getting laid off, and I had sent out these ridiculous, creative resumes to every ad agency, and no one wanted to hire me. Luckily, because I took a position for a multiple location dental practice, and quite frankly, just completely fell in love. So I've been here ever since.
And then when and why did you start the Identity Dental Marketing?
So I was a marketing director for that practice, and I just didn't like the options that were available. I really don't like long-term contracts. I just have such a firm understanding of marketing and branding, and one of the most important parts is that you can assess what's working and change when it's not working. And so to sign a year or 2-year contract is just, it's risky, and it's unfair to the buyer. So I wanted to do things differently. I felt that the marketing solutions available in the dental field were very limited, very pieced together. So you may have one company that does one aspect of marketing, and then you have another company that handles something else. And so you end up with all of these different fragments that don't work towards, the complete vision and complete goals. So I just saw a need and a discussion, and so here we are.
Excellent. So you do marketing, all aspects for dental office.
Dental offices and dental advisors as well. Anyone in the dental community, I can work with.
What about dental labs? Have you ever worked with a dental lab before?
I have. And it's really
Excellent.
fun. And I've actually done some speaking engagements for dental labs because we all know when they're not referring, I don't know if that's the right word, but when their doctors are doing well and their practices are healthy, then that trickles back to the lab.
Absolutely. So when did you start the podcast, The Daily Grace?
Oh my gosh. Not very long ago. Maybe it's been a few months, a couple months.
Have you enjoyed doing it, and has it been very effective?
You know, I've got a weird approach to a lot of my marketing. Most of my time is actually spent strategizing for other people. So my team here, they pull content from my Facebook group, which is Dental Marketing with Grace, and they create content out of content. So we're really into like fully leveraging everything that we do, which is the only way I'd be able to do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't imagine doing this on a daily basis. I got a lot of respect for you doing that.
It is all automation. There's a lot.
else who will sit down and chat with us. So head over to nadl.org and register for Visions 21. If you've never been, I highly recommend going. Not only is it great, but first-timers get a discount when signing up. Head over to nadl.org. We'll love to see everybody there.
No, I'm thinking that there's going to be plenty of people that want to sit down and chat with us.
Well, hopefully, and I know there will be a lot of past guests there. And the exciting thing is we'll be able to sit down with them and catch up with them and see how they're doing.
And it really is a great meeting, and hopefully it'll introduce new people that are listening to our podcast to it, because, it's not only a lot of networking, a lot of great speakers, but it's a really meaningful couple days and brings everybody together. So come on out.
And for those of you not in Florida, going to Las Vegas in January is a nice welcome warmth.
Going to Las Vegas anytime is a nice warmth, but especially in January. So come on out.
So Barb and I were interviewed last week live with
anytime is come on out
and
to it, because it's not only a lot of networking, a lot of great speakers,
and see how they're doing.
And it really is a sit down and
get a discount when signing up. adl.org and recording live, but it will be between the speakers and after the events. We hope that some of our listeners will come to Visions and sit down with us and be on the podcast. We're not going to air the recording live, but it will allow us to interview some technicians, some owners, vendors, or anyone else who will sit down and chat with us. So